I would say it doesn't, because I usually don't see it. And as somebody who did backflips when he scored goals, I guess I have to think it's okay. I wish. But I also will tell you that I coached in Salt Lake, and Fabian Espindola did one of those and injured himself. So I guess it should be in the back there. I'll tend to be okay with it. Keep scoring goals. It's terrific. Obviously, it's terrific. 100 goals is a lot of goals, especially in a short period of time, as he's will have done it in, if and when he gets his 100th. So, a terrific situation for him, no doubt. I think first and foremost is showing a different level of hunger this year than I feel like he had last year with our group, and I know that there's some difficulties in adapting to a new team and a new way of playing. But I think this year he's showing himself to be extremely willing and able to do whatever's asked, running very hard for us, making a lot of really important plays that don't seem like much, just by chasing things down, pressing people, being able and willing to throw his body wherever it takes. And I think he gets rewarded for that. I think that it's important, and I think that it's one of the things that we've tried to instill with the team here is that we run for each other. And guys that are willing and able to do that are the ones that I think that are bringing us success, and I think that collectively we have enough guys doing it now on a consistent basis is the reason why we have won 3 games in a row. It's been interesting, obviously interesting. We want to be able to practice what we preach. We want to be able to believe in the philosophy we set forth, which says that if you work extremely hard in the training sessions, that matters. And we see a player like Christian Higuita as the perfect example, because he's been really, really training well and training hard now for the past several weeks, and has put himself in a position where he's ready for his opportunity. His opportunity came, and he reached out and took it with both hands. And so that's going to mean something going forward. You know, there's one thing that I think has always been clear about Christian, is that he's a hungry player that's willing to be physical and is a competitor, and a natural competitor. What we needed to tone down was the reactions. And so what he does proactively in closing things down and is aggressive and physical, we like all that stuff. It's the reactive stuff. That when something goes wrong out there, when he makes a bad play, when somebody else makes a bad play, maybe when we get into a tactical situation where we have to struggle for a little bit, it's his reaction to those that I think that situation in particular is improving this year. And it's important, and I think some of that goes from being a younger player to an experienced player. Yeah. You know, my first inclination was we had Donnie Toy on the bench, who's a natural outside back, but he's left-footed. And so I really wanted to keep a little bit more of an aggressive mindset, thinking about when we had the ball, if I wanted to have a right-footed player there or a left-footed player there. I also had Christian Higuita, who I knew was ready, really, really ready. And so I felt like it was the right time to give him an opportunity, Christian first and foremost, and I wanted to keep a right-footed player at right back. So the decision at that point became pretty crystal clear for us. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. What we're doing in our training sessions, we have to be willing to adapt in the sessions, to change things up. We have to have the players very well prepared for that. You know, what's happening in the training sessions. We have to communicate, and I think communication is probably the biggest piece of that. Obviously, you do work on the training field, but you can only do so much, otherwise you end up with a fatigued team. So we've had a lot of tactical meetings, a lot of video preparation to get our guys to understand what we're trying to do. It's terrific. And this was a clear objective of ours in the off-season, to go out and obtain players that were versatile, could play in multiple positions. And I think that gives us the ability to play different ways, as well as get players with tactical intelligence. I think we did that as well. San Jose, from what I've seen, is a team right now that is better than the results have dictated. I think that they've been really, really bright in several of their matches. They play with some real tenacity and creativity going forward. They can create things. They like to press. They like to play a high-tempo game. And so I look at it as a very dangerous opponent. And I think that we need to be extremely focused on ourselves right now and continue to improve, because as I see it, Philadelphia was probably our first really, really good performance, and we need to improve on that. So my thinking is that if we do that, if we take care of our business, improve on what we did last week, then we'll get the 3 points. Same as well, I think it looks a little bit unlikely now, about his availability for this weekend, but still not 100% ruled out. His performance was fantastic as well. A lot of guys, really every guy, I would say, for me, if you went down the line, I would say fantastic performance. And for Joe, maybe I'd give him 2 fantastics. He was really good. A lot of critical saves for us. His communication was terrific, and he was off his line really aggressively this weekend as well. Yeah, of course. I was very happy. We knew from watching Philadelphia play the last several matches that they were going to be all over us in the opening stages of the match, and so we needed to weather a storm, and we did that by being composed, compact, and tactically smart. And as I said, for me, it was the first performance that I thought was very, very good. Now, of course, there were chances for Philadelphia. Things could have looked a lot different. But we need to respect our opponents and say, well, it's a good team that we played. So, and this weekend will be no different. I think, it's kind of the question's been thrown at me several different ways today. It seems to be thrown at me every interview I do. We have competition, and we can look at that as a difficulty, or we can look at that as a really good thing. Difficulty is only for me. It's not for anybody else, because I'm the one that has to make the choices. And I want that difficulty. It's much better to have to make choices than it is to just go with the same lineup regardless of results. I think it's great. It's terrific. Last year we wore them, and I thought they were pretty cool jerseys, even though both teams seem to have very similar shades of the same color. This year, hopefully, we've got the color situation sorted out so that we don't have any organization problems. But it's terrific to support the environment, of course. I'm not an athlete. I don't know if that's a question for me. I used to be an athlete. I think I would kind of go a little bit further to say that in this day and age where it seems like we all seem to be going our own way and seem to be so incohesive in our community right now, that it's anything that we can do to support each other and support the world as one. I think that's an important thing to be a part of.